Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Professor Spira, and today on the phone we have Brother Air. Say what's up, Brother Air.
What's up, Brother Air?
So we're still in our phase of technological challenge, and we are trying to figure out
I'm on an island, secluded. So I'm somewhere on an island, very secluded. So
yeah. So, we're still working on the technological thing. If you watch the past couple episodes, we've had some issues, but today we're going to have Brother Air here on the phone with us and, try a little something different. We didn't want to skip today and just wait until we had the updated equipment. We want to try to get this in because this is a real important subject and topic. We're really the only people that talk about it, that get into it, that observe it, that understand the significance of it. And what I'm talking about is pus and mucus culture. And what is pus and mucus culture? Pus and mucus culture is all of the rituals and the mores and the morals and the traditions and the art forms and the systems of thought, all of those things that are attributed to a group of people or a society that is based on pus and mucus eating, where pus and mucus eating is the foundation of the society of that group of people. This is the basis of the culture, the way that people react to one another, the way that where it's just embedded in the language. You just automatically, you're talking about it. People are thinking about it when they're within this framework. And if you're within that context, you've probably not observed things from that perspective or seen things. There's certain identifiable characteristics that we can deem from observing what we call pus and mucus culture and looking at the deficiencies and the degeneracy that comes along with it. And now the disclaimer here is that, first of all, we come from that. So when we are critiquing or criticizing or observing these dynamics, we do so as having been people that are directly coming from that world, and we're still here. We still live in pus and mucusdom. So we are not, flinging, any kind of negativity onto people that are. We already lost Brother Air. This is craziness. But anyway. We're not flinging any criticisms on people that are, like we're not a part of it. We're, if anything, it's a self-criticism too, because we were there and we're still in this thing. And so, and get Brother Air back on the line. I ought to start a GoFundMe campaign for Brother Air and get him a really nice laptop, a nice video camera, all that stuff. Hey, you there, Brother Air?
Not available.
No. So his phone, I mean, he's got a phone from, like one of 1999 cell phone designs. Probably like the cheapest, freest phone, like a phone that they pay you to have. It's not just a free phone. Somebody said, well, here, I give you $20 a month just to use this phone. I mean, that's the kind of phone that Brother Air has. So let me see if I can get him back on the line. I don't know what. what was going on there. So that's where we're at. So one of the things we like to do is really meditate on and observe things within the society that are only there because of pus and mucus eating. With pus and mucus eating, you know, certain characteristics that you'll see consistent are is overstimulation and value systems and desires that are connected to you know, things that create chaos. And you know, I like the definition of chaos that some, you know, Kabbalistic folks say, where, you know, chaos can be defined by unnecessary process. So, you know, anytime you're dealing with something that's unnecessary and good for nothing, you know, and when you're talking about that, you're talking about pus and mucus, really, is good for nothing. Brother Air, you there? Hello, Brother Air. Here we go again. This, oh man. So the one of the reasons we wanted to really kind of kick this discussion off today was because it is the fourth of, as I put on Facebook, the fourth of Pus Lie. This is Pus Lie, and it is one of the most, I mean, it one of the best examples of a pus and mucus tradition, where everything revolves around this overstimulation, just total overstimulation, where it is, you know, you're firing off these you know, blowing things up, like because I mean, what would make you want to do that? I mean, what do you have to eat where you want to blow things up? And in some cases, risk your life. In some cases, die. You know, so there's people every year. There's, I read a statistic. There's over 10,000 cases of injuries. You know, people trying to use fireworks and messing around. And in fact, let's see if I can bring it up here. Let's see here. Okay, this is what I want. All right, so I'm gonna share a screen here, just to get us, you know, kind of kicked off. Brother Air, are you back? Brother Air. This oh well, I don't know. This might not be meant to happen with Brother Air today. But so here we go. So this is just, I just did a fireworks mishap, just a Google search, and right at the top we have just a lovely picture. I should have warned you if there's kids watching. I'm sorry. This is, I did say that this would be a raw discussion, so this is going to be a little bit more intense. So the imagery might not be suitable for children, especially mucus-free children, if you're trying to keep them away from the harsh realities of pus and mucus culture. This is what I'm talking about. This would not happen within a mucus-free reality, in a mucus-free culture. You're not going to see a society where, and this isn't like an isolated incident. This happens 10,000 of these per year. And a lot of them on 4th of July, because this is the big, let's blow everything up day. And so you can kind of see this now. Brother Air, you there? Brother Air. Brother Air. It's just not connecting at all. So we might try to call Brother Air back a little bit later. I don't know what's going on. The transmission is being blocked. But so in a rational society, people eating fruits and vegetables, this isn't going to happen. I mean, everything, and these are apropos, a little football. I mean, this all revolves around stimulation that's based on pus and mucus eating. If you don't believe me, take pus and mucus out of the equation. Take eggs and bacon and cheese and all this dead animal products. Take it out of all the people that's featured on here. Take it out of their diet. Take it out of this poor person's diet. Take it out of this guy. Yeah. I mean, you mean to tell me that someone is eating nothing but fruit is going to mess around with some fireworks anywhere near their rear end? It's not going to happen. This is chaos, unnecessary process. There's no reason for this at all. There's no reason to lose a hand or lose any kind of limb or be maimed in any way based on playing games. And in some cases, these are young people. In a lot of cases, these are older people. This adult, adult men here that thought it was all fun. And is it worth it? Is it worth it to to play these kind of games? Now, I personally had been in before I got into the Mucusless diet. When I was in high school, I went to a party and there was some idiots that was playing around with fireworks and I almost got hit with it because they were like, they had it all in his backyard messing. It was ones you wasn't even supposed to have in the state, and it flew right past my head. That could have easily took my eye out. They could have messed up. Could have took someone else's eye out. I mean and we were just one of tens of thousands of teenagers that was probably doing that all across the country I think it might have been the 4th of July. So again, the thing to focus on here is in order for this to exist, in order for this to happen, to be like it is, you have to have pus and mucus as the foundation of your culture, as the foundation of your lifestyle. Now, those of us that aren't into that, we can become, we can fall victim to it. And that's why it's so important for us to raise awareness that this is unacceptable, that we have to elevate and evolve as human beings if we intend to make it. If we intend to last for any length of time, we have to do better than this. And we have to make the pus and mucus connection. Most people do not. So this is all this part. People aren't making this connection here. This is the start. This is where it all starts. The 4th of July barbecue. So here you go. All the pus you can eat. And it's celebrated. And that's what I'm saying. And like I said, this is not I'm not criticizing in general specific, because I was there. I'm criticizing myself for having, been a part, but people don't know that they don't know. But those of us that are halfway into the plant-based consciousness need to adopt and understand this pus and mucus hookup, because that's the missing link in most vegan circles and raw foodist circles. Cooked mucus-free foods did not produce this. You can have cooked mucus-free foods, and and I say that because a lot of raw foodists think that the bane of existence is cooked food, that all cooked food is created equal. So just regardless of what type of food you eat, if it's cooked, it is the worst thing of the worst of humanity. And we strongly oppose that type of concept. This thing is about pus and mucus eating. And if you're dealing with the Mucusless Diet Healing System, then you are dealing with a way. Let's see, it's Brother Air. Brother Air, you there? Hey, you back?
Okay. Yeah, man, that was weird, man. I never experienced that. All of a sudden, you said something that just sounded like a big, car crash.
Man, the powers that be, man, they do not want this conversation that we're having right now to be made public. I never, because normally when the phone goes out or drops, it drops. This was like a crash, man. Like I didn't know if something happened on your end, because I said, "Dad, did you try to go to something or push something?" Nah, I didn't do anything, and we couldn't hook back up. Like every time we called, it kept not hooking in.
I couldn't even get a dial tone for the last 15 minutes. I couldn't even get your dial tone, and I was like, "Man, what's happening?" So you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now. And so we're just getting started. We're just knee deep in the pus of 4th of July weekend, and showed them some pictures of some fireworks mishaps where some people blew off their hands and fingers and limbs playing around with fireworks, which is, just the common occurrence.
All in the name of fun.
Oh yeah. All in the name of good, good, clean, all-American pus and mucus fueled fun.
Right. Which could be another way you could describe it as psychopathism. It's almost like what we're talking about today is mucus and pus, and how culture is so inundated. We really have to go back and start building the block of a culture of mucus and pus. So, if you want to go back to what would be, I guess the fruitarian age, when humans, at least they were, eating fruit. What do you think happened there that started humans to eating mucus-causing foods? What do you think happened?
Well, I mean, that is the question of the ages. That is the question that we have to do. Like, you had to do a lot of fasting and a lot of meditation to come up with the answer for that. But obviously there was a flaw somewhere within the even in a mortal human being. There was a flaw in which the pus and mucus and pus, and we should just say mucus, because pus is fairly recent in human history. But mucus,
the fall started. See, because if you're saying the fruitarian, the fall started actually when they started eating even fruit.
Yeah,
that was a fall, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, if when you go back to that type of, if you're deducing and you sort of begin with the premise that there was a time before food, time before humans ate.
Well, that was the air gas. That was the air gas engine period.
Right.
I mean, that was that. I mean, if we could realize that in our day and time, then we pretty much know that that's real.
Yeah.
We pretty much know that that's real. That was a real time, because we can think about it now and how much sense it makes, and just that was just that when Arnold Eric talks about that, it changed my life. Just that paragraph.
Oh yeah.
Changed my life drastically. made me start really researching prana and, you know, oxygen and science in that way, you know, and I actually started thinking about every breath I took, man.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about mucus and pus culture, we are like right now, 2016. We're talking about everything that affects us. Okay, because you know we always talk about if you take mucus and pus out the equation, what's the here? What would this culture look like?
Mm-hmm.
You take mucus and pus. I mean, right now, what's going on? They're shooting up firecrackers, fireworks all over the country, and some of the world has taken on the 4th of July celebration as a fun time, you know, a festive time. So America again has influenced the world in so many bad ways, and that's something that we can discuss too, is how much America has influenced the world in real degenerative and demonstrative ways that has become other cultures in the world. It's become their culture.
Yeah.
We can discuss that, you know, and go down that road and look at that and be like, man.
Well, let's start off kind of simple and just give us some examples of things that you have observed either recently or over the years that when you see it, you're like, okay, that's pus and mucus culture. Like that's based on pus and mucus. Just keep it simple.
Okay, I got you. The transportation services that we use, cars, combustible engines, that had to be a pus, you know, that a pus consuming type of idea, because you have somebody coming to the table talking about here's an engine that has developed, that we're developing, that has something to do with messing the oxygen out that we breathe.
Yeah.
So that's not too smart if you were sitting there and you were listening to that and you were clean or somewhat, you know, conscious about generation, about creation and your whole environment, and you hear somebody talking like that, it seems like you would have scrapped that right at the start. But when you have those who have gotten, so it's like, you know, the stomachs are running everything. And so when all the stomachs get together and they see the bottom line, oh man, we can create, you know, transportation to move this at certain speeds to different areas of the earth. And so money, you know, becomes the leader now.
Let's back up and kind of emphasize what you just said with this idea of stomachs running the world. And that is a direct, like we say it so effortlessly because it's embedded in our vernacular as mucus-free individuals and within our community. But most people, they don't, like, what are you talking about, stomachs running the world? So could you explain and expound on that idea?
Well, you know, we're talking about mucus poisoning to the effect of psychopathism. Talking about people who have gone mad, and pretty much everything that they do has everything to do with creating a death culture. They don't.
And
They don't have it.
and that's another good one. Death culture. You know, expound on that.
Well, I mean, the death culture has been developed. That's something that humans have developed inside of nature. Nature will ultimately win this thing. We know that. That's why we're, you know, myself, yourself, all the practitioners. That's why we know what's coming, and we know what side to be on. And that's why we're pushing the Mucusless Diet Healing System as the only way to, you know, people think that there's a lot of ways, you know, and there's other ways to get enlightenment and all these words, divine and enlightenment and all these words, you know. But we're talking about the bloodstream, and we're talking about something real that we can actually change ourselves with work, with diligent type of work and discipline, commitment, that we can get above it. We can get, you know, from where it is now, we can get above it and be something that folks can plug into to help build a life culture.
Yeah.
You dig? So, you know, and that's basically
and an example.
I just truly believe.
An example that I always like to kind of say is, you know, within Pus and Mucus-Culture, there's such thing as horror movies, and it's huge industry and just huge. And when I was growing up, I used to I was actually a horror movie fanatic when I was like 13, 14 years old. I go to Blockbuster Video, and which for the young people, those are video stores where you could rent VHS videotapes years ago. But I would go in there and I would just get every horror movie I could find, and because I sort of had this thing about I wanted to be fearless. I didn't want to have no fears, and so I wanted to confront any of the worst imagery that could be conjured up by another human. But when you're looking at this from a mucusless diet perspective, where is the genre of movies that are, you know, immortality movies? There's no, you know, where is the and some people say, well, the fantasy. Well, not all fantasy movies are based on or have immortal characters. Every once in a while you come across a movie, you know, like a Peter Pan or a something like that, and a lot of them are older, you know, that they actually have, you know, immortal characters in them, and but you always they don't even present it like that. You have to sort of bring that consciousness to it. But with horror movies, they're a dime a dozen. You can, I mean, if there was as many movies with immortal characters and fruitarian characters and plant-based characters that could fly and that could, you know, sort of like a mucus-free Star Wars type of universe, you know, that just, if we had that type of imagination and artistry, you know, that would be a reflection of a much cleaner, much more sane society.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be the only place in society that we do have that kind of consciousness, is imagination-wise. Because, like you say, you do see. I mean, everybody's not a zombie. Everybody knows some things. I mean, you know, and so you see, even inside of the death culture, they'll try to slip a little poison in the coffee. You know, and not thinking that people like us is going to be out there to really pick up on certain things that shows, you know, like you say, certain things, certain living things flying, certain immortal type of living things. They don't expect us to pick up on that real reality. They want to keep us when you know it's a animation, and so they want to keep us in that kind of animated state with the whole story. But you can pick out the piece and say, wow, that this is, you know, where they get that from. Because you don't give them that much credit to think of that on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, but there's just so many examples. And I have a picture up of a bunch of different, of a show called The Walking Dead, which I've actually never been able to sit through an entire episode, but I hear about it all the time because it's just one of the most popular shows. If you look at all the most popular shows, many of them, the premise was death. CSI was a hugely popular, one of the most popular shows, had spin-off shows, CSI Miami and CSI whatever, and it's based on death. The whole show revolves around there was a death, and now we got to try to figure out who did it. The Walking Dead, you know, do I even have to explain why that's, it exemplifies pus and mucus culture?
It's the Walking Dead are looked on at the looking dead. You know, that's who looks on at that. Is the looking dead. You know,
the viewing dead.
So they relate. You know, it relates. People feel where they're at. You know, like, yeah, I can relate to this. That's what the whole mucus poisoning, and when we talk about the stomach, we don't relate to that, man. I mean, now it's becoming very increasingly hard to be around carnivores. I mean, let's just get it out there, man. It's like,
yeah,
it's real hard, man, to even reason with carnivores.
Yeah,
and try to maintain a friendship with them. I'm going through that right now, you know, with like, wow, you know, this, you know, I mean, like, you know what I mean? That's all hard.
It's rough. You have
family that's kind of exempt from that because they're family, you know. So, and you know, they're never not your family. So
yeah. And this is in some of what we're talking about too here, and showing for some of the mucus-free community and the plant-based folks. I mean, y'all are on a different frequency. Y'all might not even be hip to what we're talking about here, just because you've kind of taken yourself out of this whole real deep pus type of thing. But it's important for us to know what we're dealing with so we can protect ourselves from, like you were saying, from the carnivores, because there is a Walking Dead type of situation, unfortunately, and we got to be able to protect ourselves from this insanity of.
They're getting you ready, man. That's all that boob tube does, is get you ready for the reality that they're going to try to pimp on you.
Yeah,
that's why I don't watch it. You know, that's why I don't watch it. It has nothing to do with anything that has anything to do with goodness and you know, nature's power and all that is so-called righteous, man. It has everything to do with turning you into a zombie and you know, creating death. You know, Walking Dead, that's a show.
Yeah.
Who's watching it? The Walking Dead.
Yeah, because they don't got to show, you know, the walking immortals, the walking children of the sun,
the living man, you know, the living woman, you know,
because
you know, we can use the imagination in the opposite direction, and we can talk about immortality. We can talk. I mean, wouldn't breatharianism, if I had all the resources of Hollywood, I could make a serious movie on breatharianism.
Oh man, I mean, it would. It's and it's gonna happen. I mean, and we talk about this sometimes. And actually, brother Danny Michael, this is something we used to talk about a lot. Was just creating mucus-free art and movies and videos and comic books and just everything that revolves around what the next the next life style is, like the current,
What's
that
real?
the next world that we trying to bring into an existence, and just creating things that we like to watch that entertain us, because they ain't nothing. I can barely find someone with dreadlocks that's not murdering or raping or killing somebody on a TV show. Where's just a family of plant-based eating people wearing dreadlocks? You don't see that on TV. You don't see, there's nothing that's representative of us and our culture, our lifestyle, that's anywhere in the media.
No. And we're just talking about somebody who's eating apples and oranges, red leaf lettuce. We're not talking about nothing extreme, man. We're not talking about doing drugs and alcohol drinking and
they look at us like we, with those kind of ideas, like we're totally insane. Like we just, you're talking about fasting. They're not going to eat. They're going to eat just fruit, or they're eating fruits and salads, and you're going to build a story on that. Like that's irresponsible. It's like, but you got people shooting up heroin and killing each other and raping each other. And
deaf culture begots a deaf culture. And that's how, where you think people who do that stuff, where did I learn how to smoke weed from? By watching television. Superfly. That's where I learned how to, what is that? Oh, that's marijuana. Oh, that's pot. Oh, that's weed. Oh, okay, now I know what it is. So now when I see it out in the street, and one of my partners have it, that I don't know nothing about it, I know that it was glorified in this movie, kind of cool. So I might try it, because now my partner, and I know my partner is cool. You know what I'm saying? It's all that stuff, man, is done. And the people who run Hollywood and those hidden hands, man, they are very sick individuals. And I've had a chance to be around a few of them. And I think that's why I moved in a certain direction with practicing the Mucusless diet and trying to put myself back together and trying to atone. So on some level, 4th of July, they're out here. It's like the gunpowder. Our imagination with gunpowder. We shall know how to blow up a lot of things real imaginative.
Right.
We can really figure out how to blow some things up and turn it into like you can blow things up on all levels. Children firecrackers, adult firecrackers, teenage firecrackers. We got something that you can blow up as a baby. We got sparklers. You can hold that and dog the environment. We get everybody in on the film. So what I think we wanted to do today, myself and Professor Stewart, we really wanted to talk about identifying the mucus and pus culture as we speak, as we walk through our everyday lives, and we can see it in every part of our life. When we jump in that car, to when we go to, even if you go to an 8-hour job and you walk in there and you just see that whole stomach thing, the work yourself up out of bootstraps mentality, the cracking of the whip, the credential. You know that, Doctor, Professor. You know about the credentials.
Yeah. And right now we're looking at some images of a bunch of fast food and restaurant ads, and this is what I like to talk about. They lull you in to this subconscious. This kind of thing gets so subconscious because you seeing it constantly, and you getting it on TV, you're getting it when you walk out your door. I mean, just think about that. When you turn on your cell phone now you're getting all these ads. You turn on your TV, you're seeing a lot of some of the same ads. You go outside and you driving up the freeway or up the street, and you're seeing these ads from alcohol to all of the all the pus and mucus you could ever hope to eat is all there. It's a I mean, it's just is the I mean, it's insane. Where's the billboards of, like, here's my fruit stand, or where's the farm, like, here, come to my farmer's market. You might see a little ad. I've never seen a big billboard like that, but these are a dime a dozen, whether it be, just straight, open 24 hours. We're gonna, 24 hours a day, we got you covered. And this stuff, and when you start really getting into the documentaries about how they prepare all this food and all the feces that's in the meat, I mean, that should just be general knowledge. I'm always a bit distraught when people don't realize that there's feces in their meat. I mean, that's just kind of 1 + 1 = 2 there, but there's still people that don't know that. But
people, I think they know it, but they don't want to. They don't want to remember it. I mean, it's like I don't want to talk about it. It's just whether get into their meal and not think about that kind of stuff. Because they love the going out, getting served. They love all that, man.
Yeah.
They love that. So. They know, but
and the other topic I like to talk about within this realm is one thing that I noticed is a lot of mascots of pus and mucus type of establishments. They're very silly. There's a silliness that goes along with just with pus and mucus sort of salesmanship and eating, the way that they sort of sell it. And you don't see that when they're trying to sell fruits and vegetables. It's like, it's sober. And if they even try that, like, I rarely even see ads about that. Maybe the local, I was looking at some old videos once that I used to tape stuff back in the 90s, and there was some, with no commentary of Brother Air, that I had some commercials on some old tapes. But there was a thing of people that was they just, like, a local Thriftway or Kroger ad would say it was like grapes 69 cents a pound or something, and that would be it. There was no big funny character or clowns or anything, Okay, we lost Brother Air. Yeah, you back?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
So now
that was a regular drop, man.
Okay, yeah, that was our scheduled drop, phone drop.
Yeah, the first one was something that, like, I'm gonna have to look outside, see if anybody's in the front, driving by.
But so what we talking about now is sort of the absurdity of many food mascots. All of the clowns and all the idiocy.
Well, who looks the foolish? The people going in buying it, or the mascot?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's your favorite pus mascot?
Oh, wow. I don't know. We seen one the other day that we were out.
That was like the
pizza guy.
Yeah, the pizza guy was dressed in this big pizza outfit, running up the street, a gallery hop.
I mean, I had a hard time identifying what kind of food he was. He just was like, I mean, and we talked about like what kind of money did they have to give this guy to do that? And you know, I mean, like minimum wage is that? I mean, you know, I mean, whoa, you know. So it's and the things that we'll do on those jobs. That's another thing. The things we'll do on those jobs for minimum money. You know.
And one observation, and I'm looking at these pictures here. Even when they do try to promote fruits and vegetable or like plant-based items, the silliness is usually not there. So like the Sun-Maid raisins with the little girl holding the grapes. There's not really nothing silly about that. That's just, oh, okay, that's not nutty. Then we have the
but it's something supremacist about it.
Well, I mean, that's sort of another topic. Oh, let's see. Takora is calling. Should we get her in?
Yeah.
Greetings, Takora.
What's happening, brother man?
You are live on the air.
Oh, hey, what's going on, fam?
We are talking about pus and mucus-culture.
All right.
And
Pus and Mucus-Culture.
Now, Tamar's plugged in. Tamar?
Tamar, how you doing?
Plugged into the Mucus-free conference.
yes.
Talking about Professor Spira, Air, and the rest of the Amazon. I got to make sure Camille know. What's going on?
What's going on?
Was that the blog up there? Yeah. Oh, okay. You know we live, Tamar. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're live. So we're gonna, we all have to take turns talking so we don't talk over each other. But
okay.
So Takora, let me ask you.
How's everybody doing today? Peace and blessings. That's Zion.
How you doing, sister?
What's going on? So y'all just got a whole big conference going on.
One at a time so we can hear.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanna ask. I wanna ask y'all what name the most memorable Pus and Mucus mascot or icon that you can think of.
Okay.
Like which one do you think has been the most destructive?
Kentucky used to be fried chicken.
Ronald McDoodoo. That's a good one.
I guess that would be Colonel Sanders. I guess he was a real person, right?
Yep. Yes. Taco Hill.
Yeah. Now, what would we're talking about their mascot?
The mascots.
Because we know Ronald McDonald would be
the clown.
Who would be their mascots? I mean, we were talking about the mascots that we know that we grew up with. Some of us grew up with that kind of represented. Well, I know that truck that used to drive around the neighborhood, that Mr. Softy. I mean, that wasn't a mascot, but it definitely was an icon that we came running to. You know, so I mean,
Charlie Tuna.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. What was it?
Charlie Tuna.
Oh yeah. That was an animation, but I guess I guess that was an animation. I don't know if
that's a mascot, like that little fish looking whatever shark or whatever that is, tuna or something. Yeah.
And it made it more pleasing to buy that stuff, especially us as children growing up with all those mascots and icons.
I don't remember too many mascots. I do remember some of the animated, cartoon playful things. I remember all jingles. Now, I could throw some jingles out there to bust your head, but I ain't trying to go way back then, that crap. But, yeah, I remember the jingles. To all these patterns, especially stuff that she took his names on.
Right.
We show us an Oscar Mayer wiener. All that crap.
Yeah, those are that's good. Yeah.
Can't eat just one. Legs take you. All that good crap. I remember all that stuff because I ate that shit a lot. I mean, excuse me, my language. I ate that poison a lot. So I remember that stuff because it's ingrained. And soon come, I won't remember none of that poison. But what's that? What piqued that question in particular?
Well, I mean, we're just sort of going through all of the different elements, just that kind of come to mind, the different elements of pus and mucus society and culture. And
well, it's a lot of new ones now. And
what we were talking about, I mean, if some of y'all don't know the what we were talking about was basically today mucus and pus culture, how it's influenced our lives as terms of, and I brought up the combustible engine, like how that affected the air that we breathe, and that those who implemented a combustible engine had to be like mucus poison type, full of pus and basically stomachs, promoting the death culture. Because anytime you come up with an idea that's gonna affect the environment and the air that you breathe, and you say, well, this is a good idea, let's go forth with it, then that becomes, and now it affects all of us. We're all a part of that. We all drive and we all ride and we all,
what was first, the airplane or the car? Which one was first, the airplane or the car?
The car.
Yeah, the train.
Because they had I mean, there's
the steam engine and that whole kind of process with coal, and so that's the process we were talking about with the combustible engine, and that people who who run this place, kind of the hidden hand folks, they the one who deem all these death culture ideas and then feed it to us, and we as the masses eat it up and become farther and farther away from nature.
True. That's interesting because I have I've been witnessing. I do a lot of walking. Even if I got access to transportation, I do a lot of walking simply because I like to walk. I want to. And I would encourage people to even walk with me. And sometimes I could get a person to walk, but at a short distance, not at the length that I do walk. And it's interesting that that's happening now because even the people that are vegetarians that I know very well, they will not get out there and walk. They won't come in the sun. They'll wait till later on. We had several events here in Georgia, and they didn't come out till a little later. And it was interesting to see that because of the heat. And I know that the heat is good only when you're hydrated. And a lot of people here to me, they still need to work on hydration to me because I feel like they are not to where they need to be. All of us still got a lot further to go, but these ones in particular. Like
when you filled up mucus, the sun is very irritating to you. So that's why, I mean, I can sit in the sun all day and night, you know what I mean, all day while the sun is out and not have a problem with it. Straight in direct, I mean, right into the sun and not have a problem with it. But other folks run from the sun, and that's because they're full of mucus, because it becomes very irritating to them.
Right.
So,
see, where I'm at now, it's like 100. It's probably like 110 degrees where I'm sitting at now. And, you know, I ain't no air conditioner. I just like the heat. And it's unbearable. So a lot of people come to this part of the house. But, you know, well, I don't want no air on. And I don't even got a fan on. The fan is up there, but it ain't on. So, a question in particular about the mascot. I remember Frisch's Big Boys. They had the little guy, and Mr. Softy, of course, you know, they had that.
Well, actually,
and
the Mr.
Harry Doughboy.
The Big Boy actually was I mean, it was a sign, plus it was a person too, because you would see him sometimes in, you know, some parades or wherever. You might go with Frisch's and see the mascot walking around, jolly little white guy.
And it feels very Doughboy. You remember?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's probably one of the most famous icons. Was that
feel right now? Yeah, I just seen it recently here. You know, they love biscuits here. You know, so that's an infamous one.
Well, and a lot of them have a lot to do with white supremacist type of images too.
That was what I was alluding to. Yeah. You know, that those white ones in particular, I mean, or I say the pale. Because they get, to me, you know, those particular things are white. Literally. However, the pale folks that push it are alluding to their, you know, their power, you know, or their inferiority. You know. So, there was two more in particular. I'm thinking of, and I'm gonna write them down as I'm speaking about it because that's a heavy topic. You know how people are moved with you know the toying, or they're actually dumbing them down, immature. You know, that kind of energy, and people play into it because it's fun, you know.
Well, tell me this: does mucus poisoning affect? And anybody can answer this. Does mucus poisoning affect spirituality?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
elaborate on that.
100%.
If anybody feels anything about that, and how deep does that go into spirituality, a connection with others and their spirituality, and certain frequencies, I guess, that are open or closed or somewhat static to you know what I mean? So just kind of open that subject up and you know.
Well, I mean, you can't. I mean, for me, it's hard to really have a serious conversation about spirituality until we get past the pus and mucus dynamic, and that is controversial to a lot of the sort of new age spiritualists and some of the gurus and the folks that's out there, because many of them teach that diet is not that important, that it's really about your state of consciousness, and that you know, diet, you can do you know, give or take diet, but you gotta deal with this certain level of consciousness. Of course, from my perspective, that speaks to a level of pus and mucus addiction that is embedded within a system of spiritual or philosophical or moralistic thought process that essentially enables one to and makes an excuse for one to indulge in the pus and mucus realm, which ultimately, I mean, that's probably good for the guru, because then the people will always have to follow that particular guru because they're never going to advance. If you continue, to a certain extent, you're going to be stunted in your growth, and you'll be prevented from accessing, levels of. Somebody's got we got an echo here. And, Janan is on. Turn down your
Audio?
yes, your speaker.
Yeah.
If you have a headphone, it might be the best. I don't know if you have some headphones you could throw on.
Hold on just 1 second.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, Janan is doing this.
Beautiful work.
Yeah, she's going to see if she can get some headphones. She was getting some feedback. So
the spiritual part of that, I just recently, this was yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was at the Hindu Temple of Atlanta, and we're there doing yoga, and one of the monks came out. He's from India. He came out and he started giving some, knowledge to the guy who taught class, who's a European named Kim. And he says to Kim, the posture you are doing, and he pronounced it and everything, which was the knee, pulling the knee to the head and lifting it. And he had us all saying it. It was really interesting. So I think he was wanting to conversation toward me, and the only reason that he didn't is because I didn't teach the class, because I was doing some extra stuff. And so he told Kim that he wants his address so that he can send him a DVD so that he can get, the correct knowledge, information, and the pronunciation of these postures that he was showing her. So afterward, one of the other brothers walked up to him and said, I have his address. I'll give it to him. You give me the information. So I thought maybe it had something to do with his personal experience with this. And so after he left, I was like, I was kind of dismayed because he wasn't thin at all. He had a real gigantic gut. And so I said to the European Kim, I said, yeah, we got some stuff going on up in there. He got to get rid of some of that boo-boo. And so we laughed, and he told me about several of the gurus that he had met. And Gramai, who happened to be one of the latest gurus, she was up under the tutelage of Muktananda. And she made her transition. And I was asking how, when they leave, how do they leave, and do they cremate all of them? And he said not all of them. But with all that being said, the spiritual part of the liberty afterwards, they don't just feed people anything. They are like vegetarians. They eat a lot of starch, and they may eat some dairy. And I think that may be the reason why so many people are conditioned to do and to practice the diet to an extent, not the mucusless diet, but abstaining from eating animals. Because you have monks, gurus, teachers, practitioners who say to these people, a plant-based diet is healthier, and that's the end of the matter. Nothing else matters. So after you get that information, and I've spoken with several people, and they'll say, well, that's where you at, and this process, you gotta take baby steps. So I don't go into none of that with anybody, simply because I want to plug them in to where the dialogue is taking place, because it's about reasoning and information. And so that's the first thing I say is, you got to check this out.
What do you think? Do you think, like, you mentioned that the guy had all this knowledge and he had studied with some gurus, and then you say, well, you look at him, and he didn't kind of represent what all that knowledge would represent.
He don't. And that's what Jakim was saying. You know, this monk didn't represent the teachings that was passed on to him so that he could pass what he know on to him. But I'm thinking that maybe the DVD has him in his younger years. So before...
No doubt. I mean, now, does that have anything to do, anybody can answer this, does that have anything to do with how you feel? I mean, it does with me. I have to admit that visual has something to do with it. If you're talking a certain language, it has something to do with how I perceive what you're talking about, especially when you're talking about physiology. The visual for me is big. I don't know if it is for others, but for me it's big.
This Kikoa talking. I know for a fact of the matter is extremely important because we are mirrors of each other. And when you put the work in and you're speaking to someone who's not doing the work, you know, their voice, their frequency, everything they're doing and saying is null and void, even with themselves. But because they've experienced these things and they've had it for a little while, they speak on it as if they're experts there. But they were at one point in time able to regurgitate and influence. But now, at this point in time, people look at you and say, you don't look like what you're talking about. You know, and that was one of the things I wanted to ask you with the sister and Susan. You know, what you may have saw of her and her language.
That's right.
Radita? Susan Radita. The one that, you know, that, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The one that has the she's been practicing the Mucusless diet for over 50 years or something like that. You know, I've never saw her Facebook page, no. But her words are profound in certain areas, you know, from what I've read. And I like some of what she's written. I haven't seen her, so I don't know if she's living the part she's speaking, and if she had lived it and she don't look like that anymore, which is another point that I'm about to make about another practitioner. She's a breatharian practitioner. However, she's a Jewish woman named Judith Kravitz. When I saw initially, when I first saw Judith Kravitz, she was a thin woman, and then when I saw her like in the, you know, in 2000 plus, she's really heavy set girl now. Even Lila, the one that is doing yoga.
Yeah, I think the whole breatharian dialogue is just that. It's about the dialogue. It's not about the practice. That's why I don't take it seriously. I don't recognize none of these folks that claim to be breatharians as breatharians. I just think that they're interested in physiology on some level. But I don't take it seriously because they're not saying the right stuff. You know, what's coming out of them is not.
You know that old saying.
Right language.
Actions speak louder than words, and I happen to know that from the ancient point of view, we have always been the ones, and we have always done the work. You know, when I'm talking about the work, look at this country before it was even to this point, even the technology, before it was even heightened to where it is.
It's all about the work. That's all, you know, it's all about the work. That's all we can bear witness to is our commitment and our passion. And that's the difference, I think, on a lot of us who really are real practitioners, is that we have a passion for what we're doing. You know, I think somebody...
Who want to be sick? I mean, to look at the scope, to look at the full scope, who wants to be sick? So we have so many people that are in an arena where we have people that are in the medical field that have scores and scores of people who come to them, and they don't know what's going on with their physical bodies. And these people are telling them, you know, what some of their problem is, and then they'll prescribe medication and pharmaceuticals. And then we have those ones that are pushing other pharmaceuticals, which are illicit, sort of thing, heroin and codeine, and even some of the over-the-counter drugs. You know, people purchase that and get high, even glue. So when state of people's minds, like literally, is inundated with that.
Well, I mean, when we get right down to it, and really deal with simplistic type of dialogue, there is nothing more important than your health. Now, anybody who can answer that has, that can say that I want to hear it, And so that's the emphasis for what we do and what everybody should be prioritizing, is that there's nothing more important than your health. But everybody doesn't look at it like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a defining characteristic of pus and mucus culture and society, to not look at it like that. That everything else is more important. You're running this errand or this marathon, or let me go do this, or I need to go to the club, or let me do. It's always about health is not the important aspect. And even people that think that they're into health, they are into a stimulation version where, well, let me take all these supplements, or let me do this, and let me get myself amped up, and then I'm going to go run, or I'm going to go do this. And I'm not saying running's bad. I'm not saying I'm just saying there is a dynamic where people don't want to lay down for 2 weeks and heal themselves, be on Mother Nature's operating table if they need to, or a couple months, or even maybe it might take someone a couple years to really heal themselves. But instead, people are saying, well, if I can't fix it in a short period of time, then I'm not interested. If it can't happen today, people would rather get cut on and have a big thing, to open heart surgery and all kinds of stuff than do what we talking about.
It's about health by their schedule. If I can't get myself together by time for me to go to work,
then it ain't. Yeah, right. I'm not going to consider it. And now I want to. I think Janan is ready, so I want to introduce Janan. You had to undo your unmute yourself there. And can't hear you yet. The mute, find your mute button there. For some reason they don't. I'm able to mute participants, but I can't unmute them, which is doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I don't know.
Another mascot that I remember is a Jimmy Dean sausage, the little sun sausage.
Oh yeah, but was it a
Planters peanut?
Well, Planters, yeah, that was.
And then the little raisin guy, that's a little kosher one, the little raisin. Ooh, I heard it.
Yeah.
That's a clean. That's a mucus-lean.
Well, that's we were talking about that a little earlier. How it was a certain level of supremacy there, but I mean, yeah, we'll take the raisins.
Okay, so I want to take a moment and introduce everybody to Janan Al-Jahani, who is joining us.
Hi, everybody.
What's going on?
How are you doing, Brother Air, Takora? How are you?
Yeah, and and the thing is, they might not be able to hear you. I didn't think about that because I'll hear you through here, but they don't have a way to hear you, and because they're totally by phone. So
Oh, okay. So are they the only two that can't hear me?
well, what's going to happen is they'll be able to hear you about 30 seconds after you say whatever you say. So we're going to give you the platform. We're going to let you, me and you will kind of talk for a moment and kind of give you the platform here to have a discussion and get into some things. So what's going on now? So tell me a little bit about the jewelry line, that the mucus-free jewelry. I think that's the big topic. We started kind of putting it out there to the world just a couple days ago. So just tell us a little bit about the inspiration for it and kind of where that came from.
Well, here recently, it's jewelry making. It's become a hobby of mine, I would say. Just something that I have taken to. Being a performer, I was always into making my own costuming and that type of thing, but jewelry making was never anything that I even thought to try. Um, but I had some time on my hands after back in November, quitting my job that I had for 15 years with the same company. I started to kind of take on more, I would have to say, a true life for myself. So, and that's when I started to just become artistic in every way possible that I thought I would enjoy. So jewelry making was one of those things. And so when I started making the jewelry, it, I was I have pieces all over the place. I have pieces that I've made myself that honestly that maybe I've worn once. And I hated to see all of the beautiful things that I started to surround myself with, all of the different beads and all of the colors and all that. Just, I don't want to say go to waste because it was definitely therapeutic for me, but I felt like this is something that had to be a little bit more meaningful. And so that's when I came to probably the next most meaningful thing in my life, and that would be the mucusless diet. So, um, and I don't know how I came up with the fruit, but uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But then I mentioned it to you, Professor Spira,
Mhm.
and we kind of made a joke about it. And then I thought, well, why not? And I'm like, if I can go out and if I can find a cute little lemon bead, because being that in my mind is the most important fruit. That's the most important thing. That's the most important growing element um, that we can go out and grab for ourselves as far as the mucusless diet goes. If I can find a cute little lemon bead, then I'm going to do it. And so then that's when I started to make jewelry with the lemons and um, men's jewelry, ladies' jewelry, and just get creative with it and see if other people like what I like. And so that's
Yeah.
how I got started.
Yeah. And so we're taking a look here at some of the pieces. You can get them on mucusfreelife.com. And
Oh yeah.
we have and this is, I mean, that was a brilliant idea to have these different lines. So this is the lemon line.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is just getting started. I mean, can you think about all the possibilities as we start to touch on all of the fruits that we rely on to get us uh, through and progress through the diet, and we think about all of those fruits and the colors that we come in contact with, and what nature looks like when you wear it. I just this is just the beginning. I'm really excited about it.
And then I do want to let people know for the next 12 hours, we have a coupon code, 5% off all of the jewelry. So on mucusfreelife.com, the coupon code is lemon, the word lemon. type lemon in when you're checking out, you can get an extra 5% off. Most of them are already on sale. They're already cheaper than they're worth, but we give you that extra little bit. Now this is actually the one I'm wearing here, which I'll show in a second. These are and there's these different pairs. So you have this pair intended for women, bracelet and necklace pair there, and then for the guys there is a this necklace pairs really just perfectly here with this the lemon courage line, or the lemon courage pair, however you would call that. We got the little lemon earrings, the barefoot sandal, 2 of those. Let's see here. The citric safari, that one's been pretty popular. That one's getting some.
That's one of my favorites, I would have to say, with the scale design on it, the lizard scale. Kind of cool.
And these last couple.
Yeah. And what's really fun for me is working with all of the different colors and the materials, and using my fingers to put together pieces for each person is, I think, what makes it so special for me, and that there's something for people to talk about. It's a conversation starter, I think. And
Right. And I wanted to kind of make the point, because the topic that we've been talking about today is pus and mucus culture. Then it would beg to the question, well, what does mucus-free culture look like? What does that art look like? What does that what kind of artifacts come out of and are produced by a mucus-free sort of reality? And this is an example of mucus-free art and artifacts, and something that you can wear that can represent what you're about. And so this is not jewelry, it's not Sean John, Ralph Lauren or whatever. I don't even know famous jewelers. You had to name.
I know, right? I used to be really good at that. I can't. Now I'm stuck. I don't mind though. I don't mind.
Elder Bierman. I don't know, but that's a store, isn't it? I don't know. But this is this is really that, and of course we got while we're on that subject, we have mucus-free music, or music that has been inspired by Mucusless diet and mucus-free lifestyle. And a lot of people don't even know this is on the site. This is when me and Brother Air, first and foremost, are musicians. So we like to talk about the Mucusless diet and share our experiences and put out, the books and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're musicians. And so this is how we really got into promoting Mucusless diet and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in some of our music, and we'll talk about that more some other time. But now these packages here are ones I would definitely recommend. There's the ultimate men's lemon jewelry line and the ultimate women's lemon jewelry. That's all of them together. It's all of them for one low price. It makes it a lot cheaper. And
it gives me some variety to make, so I'm not just making the same thing all the time. I get to make one of everything every now and again, which is nice.
Yeah. So that is now that's that. Now what was Takora was saying something about the jewelry. You still on there, Takora?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
I was saying, wow, I didn't know that the page had all that information on there. See, I'm still coming out of the primitive Stone Age.
Yeah, like I said,
get my phone up.
Right.
I was down there at my little sister's house, and we got heavy into reading and some yoga and stuff. So I wanted to call her. I just got the message on the phone, literally. And I would have called her so that they could plug in, because there's a few of them where she is. They're waiting for our arrival because we're supposed to be having a gathering. And we could have, like, plugged them in. I could have called Camille. And I was like, darn, it's about to go down now. So that's what made me call you directly. Air said it started at 4:30. I just got the message at 5. So I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, so, I'll just be going somewhere else.
Yeah, so this is...
I want to check out the jewelry when I come forward and see if Tamar and Zion could take a look at it. Is it any in Cincinnati now? Or it's up in Columbus?
Now, so what the way that this is working is, as soon as somebody orders from the website, then Janan will get the order and she will start working on that order fresh. So each one is made specifically for the person that ordered it. So she starts working on it, and then within 2 or 3 days, you mail it out. And and that's
Right. Yeah. You'll get, I say within 72 hours of you ordering it, I will have it completely finished for you and in a package. And I'll present you with the tracking number via email, the same email that you give when you place an order. I'll give the tracking number back to, so you'll be able to track your jewelry.
Lemon is the code put it in for that 5%.
Yeah,
right?
lemon, right. And do that like today, in the next 12 hours, that code is not going to work. So that is an additional 5% off. So something like, if you got, say, the Ultimate Women's Jewelry lemon jewelry line, is already 30% off. So you can add another 5% off to make it, really have a great deal, and then have all of the different pieces and just just go crazy with it.
Right. You'll be able to talk about the mucusless diet with all your outfits.
Right. Yeah, it's a great conversation starter.
Right.
Is this jewelry environmentally friendly and the whole thing?
Yes, it is 100% vegan jewelry. No dead animals, no leather, nothing's used. Used like hemp and
there's no bone.
Yeah, no bone.
No formaldehyde bead, right? Because some like little bow rats and stuff got formaldehyde in it.
Yeah, no formaldehyde bead.
No.
And the lemons do have seeds in them, do it, right?
yeah, little tiny.
Yeah, they'll have seeds. Just try not to break them to get them.
Generic lemons, man. No, So that's.
I'll make a GMO lemon.
No GMO lemons, but I do ask that you do be gentle with them, because they will crack and shatter and break like glass.
No lemons without no seeds. So, but yeah, that's a good thing, man. To have all this stuff, man. As the whole mucus-free life culture starts to expand now,
right.
And things, and I know Takora and her side of her world, we're gonna expand into to some of that, to what she's gonna bring to the table. So it's expanding, man.
And I was thinking of we got Israel that's making the portraits and the paintings and the fruit art.
Oh, he's so good at that.
Yeah, man. I mean, all that. Tobin, he's still doing the music.
Yeah. There was a track that turned out real good that I heard. Somebody had posted up. I think seemed like it was something he did, a collaboration with a fellow rapper, and he had a part on there, at the end of the track, and it was slamming.
Oh, okay. So I mean, that's all. Like I say, this thing is getting wider, man, and people, because if you tell folks about trying to become mucusless, you got to have an alternative. Well, if, you know, you got to have something for them to check out. You know,
Right.
You know, it's just like, well, okay, eat apples and oranges. Okay, well, you know how we talked about when we put the Brother Air ensemble together about music that wasn't developed from stimulant. You know, we were talking about as far back as we can go. If we talk about Charlie Parker or even Bob, Beethoven, they were eating. You know, they were composing. So we had this notion to put a band together that was based on sound and vibration. That was, you know, doing all this fasting, basically non-stimulant type of music. You know, what would it sound like? What would the music sound like that wasn't stimulated by mucus and pus, or even food on that level? And so that was the whole emphasis for doing that. And so, you know, it's just a lot of things, man, that we have to replace a lot of things. You know what I mean? It's like people, if they're going to give up certain things in that death culture, then what are they going to be replaced with?
Yeah. Right. And that's and then that becomes our responsibility as the artists and the folks that's bringing this next reality into fruition. And and that's what I try to emphasize.
It doesn't totally land on our feet, but we definitely have a responsibility in it, you know, and we feel it. We feel our responsibility, and we do as much as we can. I mean, you know, we're doing as much as we can, man, to
I got a question. What, as far as inspiration is concerned, what would the spiritual, how would you reach people that are like really, 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 they love truth, and they don't know exactly how truth truly looks? What and how can you direct or create a direction for them? Because I know a lot of, you know, people. This is the only place I've ever seen churches everywhere, and I've spoken with plenty of people that love church, and they're good folks. It's just that they are extremely turned around. I mean, they're like zombies, and it's not intentional. It's part of that genocide that they don't know or remember, because amnesia is just like it's a pandemic, you know. And they'll hear something that'll pique their interest in my reasoning. You know, when they start talking about one in particular, this is an example. This woman was talking about her health, and so I was like, "Yes, I know what you're talking about. I know where you're coming from, honey. But you know what the Creator said. You go back in that book of Genesis 1:29. What's your meat medicine, girl?"
Well, that
she couldn't detach from the Bible.
Well, I just think
medicine was.
I just think that you know, that's another. I guess that's something that we have to really get involved in, and I really want to get involved in, because I just don't see any kind of righteous church turning us down as far as coming in and exposing this to their members, because all we're talking about is eating apples and oranges, green leafy plants, fasting. Any church in their right mind, and I mean, there'll be a few that just reject it, but that's what you're talking about. Is we got to get involved in all these churches. There's thousands of churches in one city.
Yes,
thousands of churches in one city. So we have to get. You know, it's just like I see those Mormons walking through the roughest black neighborhood, two little white boys, man. And I have to give them credit, man, because they be two little white boys, man, like in Southside Chicago.
Well, that's interesting.
south side of
Because
Chicago.
I saw black folks out there in Utah. You would see a couple sprinkles here and a couple sprinkles there, and it was interesting to me. You know, because walking through urban European, community, oftentimes you do a label, you're going to get profiled and pulled over and everything. And it was interesting to go out there and see the total identical thing. A few little, Nubians walking through an all European neighborhood, not being kicked off.
That's what I'm talking about. Is those, feet on the ground type of activities that we would have to be willing to be to take it to that next level, and that would have to be on our mission statement, which right now it's not, but it's something that I think the result would be would be just mind blowing, man, in terms of increasing the knowledge about mucusless type of lifestyle. So that's part of doing this thing, man. We have to, get feet on the ground, man, and just be about the change. What is it? Be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
I mean that's where my head is at. With really getting involved with people, and not white folks, black folks, but just people in general, man. Just let's put it on them. Let's put it on them in fever's pitch.
And I hadn't went yet, only simply because in the event that I would do a presentation or speak, I was going to use, certain passages, because I'm well versed when it comes to the Bible, and if anybody would like to try to, debate with me, I just shut them down with something out of the New Testament, because a lot of people like to.
Well, it's not even about a debate point. It's about presentation and you using those scriptures as your pitch, because this is your book. You see what I'm saying? You coming into their church, and this is your book saying this.
Well, that's what they were asking me, to do. I had 3 sisters in particular, and they said you should be a minister. And I was like, well, all of us are ministers, because we help each other, and anytime you helping somebody, you are administering something. You help somewhere. And she was speaking. Now I'm talking about in terms of the inspiration. And I understood exactly what she was saying, because when every time I take a lemon, it's like some electricity. You get that direct download for real. Coming from that tree, and everything that tree had on it, the branches, the leaves, you getting everything, and you can't dispute the feeling that you get from, doing an internal cleansing, and that will be primarily, the help that I will give people. I had a sister told me, sister, you take too many animals. I said, you think so? And there was nothing else I could say, because, that's okay.
That's the thing that, people constantly are talking about, the enemas will, decrease your electrolytes and whatever that kind of language, and those folks are never gonna do an enema or whatever. Them are not, but there are people who know about the hot water bottle on the back of their mama's door growing up in the bathroom. They always seen that hot water bottle there, and there was a reason for that. And there's some culture that we've gotten away from, that we need to recapture some of this stuff. And so we just reminding people about who we are. we're not inventing the wheel. We're not talking about, hey, you know, check us out. We got a new thing, you know, and we're brilliant. You know, check what we're doing and check what we came up. No, we just remind of old ancient things that we were and that we did.
Right. There was a tribe Victor told me about in Ethiopia, and I finally caught up and got to see this tribe he's talking about. He said the Batawi, he said they were the ones that they would use a gourd and take these enemas. And when I read that passage in Professor Spira's books, that pertains to the Essenes and the discussion that he wrote about where the enemas, the origin of enemas and how the birds would take this water and yeah. I thought that would be good, you know, to start with the young children first so that they could get a full picture. I had two sisters, one on about 19, 20 years old, and the other one was 24. And they asked me, could I give them an enema? And I was like, yeah, let me know when you're ready. I said, the sooner the better. And then just recently, my niece just told my sister, she said, I need Dakota to come help me do an enema. And I'm like, you know, I'm ready. You know, I done gave a woman, she was almost 300 pounds, and her fecal matter was real heavily, and she didn't really have an odor, so I know we didn't get, you know, down to the root cause, and I told her that she needed, you know, several more. And she did everything in her power not to do it again. You know, she's bigger now, you know, and I'm sad to see or hear that she's even bigger. And I said the next time, you know, my sisters and them see her, you know, to talk to her and let her know that, you know, she's dying, you know, and to let her know, you know, we ain't gave up, you know. Be ready to hit these ones that's afraid to get down in there, you know. There's too many people giving misinformation, and it seems like they lean heavily on the misinformation more so than they do those that's doing the work with the information. Yeah. They want to be associated with them, you know, but they don't want to do the work.
Well, what another thing I wanted to know is from to Spira was how being involved in academia and then getting through with that and facing being out here with that, with your lifestyle. How did you kind of prepare, and what kind of things were running through your mind? Like being involved in academia for so many years and then getting done with it, getting out of it, you know, and saying, okay, now I got this, now what? And knowing that you probably are you know, a handful of people all over the world that have practiced the Mucusless diet and ended up, you know, getting a PhD and living and being a practitioner first.
Yeah.
For the PhD.
Right.
And then how you fit this into, you know, what was going through your mind, like, okay, you know, because it's like the safe haven, now it's not a safe haven.
Right.
Somewhat of it. But now it's kind of
now the diet is my haven, whether it's safe or not.
Yeah.
It's what I have, you know. But so basically, my pursuit of the PhD really was inspired by the Mucusless diet, because it came at a time when, as a musician, you know, sort of the diet / being a musician / I have an insatiable appetite for studying and learning, and so why don't I be a professional student and at least do something in that realm, because I wasn't done studying. on a real intensive level. And I had taught, I got my master's degree and at College Conservatory of Music at University of Cincinnati. And that's a whole trip. I won't get into that story. Some of that's in Spira Speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I started teaching. I was 23 years old, and I started teaching college. I was an adjunct professor of music, and I taught Survey of African American Music and Music World Cultures. Did that for 2 years, and the time came when they were starting to talk about maybe giving me a full-time lecturer position, and then I would just keep teaching those same courses. And I was at 23. I think I was the youngest professor that was on campus. But so what happened was, instead of pursuing that position, I decided, well, if I'm going to do anything in academia, I want to have a PhD. And I'm not really ready to settle down. That wasn't a part of the plan, because I was, me and Brother Air had the band, the Brother Air Ensemble, and that was where I was using a lot of school resources to be able to program music and keep the band kind of working and doing things and creating videos. And we put together a health fair when I was a professor down there, because I had access to those resources. I was able to just say, okay, I want to use this place, and we're going to put together a health fair. And we did it 2 years in a row. The first year was just a presentation, and then the second year was an actual fair. And we invited like Mercy for Animals and these different Earth Save and these different group representatives to come and set up booths and that whole thing. So, and that was part of a larger vision, because we always wanted to find different, new ways to just get this information out there. So in all that, I saw that if I went to school and finished my PhD, since I was fairly close, or closer than most people ever get that practice Mucusless Diet, that perhaps there would be some resources that open up at the other end of that we could use for promoting the Mucusless Diet, for being able to for doing our music and our art. And academia is an environment that I've sort of figured out. Like I fit into it, and especially once you get into graduate school, then it's like a door opens up where it's not the same as like when you're an undergrad, and it's like you're working hard. You're like, and everybody's kind of treating you like an underling and that kind of thing. It's like graduate studies, you're usually taught with a little bit, or you're treated with a little bit more respect and stuff, which I think everybody should be treated like that. But that's how it is in there. So that's really where that came from. So I went, and I said, and like I said, at that time I was just had such an insatiable appetite to study. I mean, I would go through the Great Courses series. I would go through there was times when I would go through 3 or 4 courses per week. And those are full-length college courses that are supposed to take you, 4 to 5 months to take. And I was going through them within 1 week. It was insane. I mean, I was practicing like 15 to 18 hours a day, and I was studying, and that's all I did.
You're Superman, dude.
I mean, that's all I did I was just in that mode. And so I took that energy into my PhD studies, and it just took everything to the next level, because the one thing that they do is make sure your writing is on point, in terms of just, it doesn't mean you don't make mistakes when you write, but it just the structure of what you're doing.
Talk about before you go on with that. Talk about practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System while you were in school, from undergrad to master's. Let's talk about your emotions and just
endurance. How did you endure?
Episodes and behavior and just talk about that. Because I could talk about it. Because it.
Well, I mean, you have your options. I mean, I always feel like I'm kind of a bad example because not everybody could really necessarily do what I did the way I did it, you know, and I don't promote it. You know, I don't promote what I did, how I did it, you know.
The behavior of walking through the conservatory with a face mask on, remember?
Yeah, yes. I had this attitude where basically in that period in my diet at all, the vision of myself, because at that point, like I said, I was doing all this studying and I was studying a lot of just Black history and Black Panther Party and Malcolm X and that kind of stuff. And so I essentially had this vision of myself as sort of like, what if Huey P. Newton or Malcolm X was talking about the Mucusless diet? Like, how would that vibe have translated in person? And so I was a lot more intense than I am now, just in terms of just confronting, just my vibe, confronting people. I was just, I mean, people still think I'm intense, but I'm like super laid back compared to then. And
yeah, I remember that. I remember we had to go over to East Park. We had to go over to East Park and kind of do like okay, Mike at that time. You know, we were like, okay.
There was an intervention that happened.
We had to create like an intervention to deal with bringing it back. It's like, okay, like, you know, because he became blacker than black. You know, I mean,
were you angry?
I was. I think
it was a little of that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it was that, and and I had gotten to a point where I was just like, it was almost like, unless you are talking about, don't even talk to me unless you want to talk about the Mucusless diet. And just, I was, you know, and what happened was, so College Conservatory of Music the word conservative is in there. And I write my entire dissertation is based on racial issues that I experienced there. Not maybe the entire thing, but there's quite a bit of it. I address some of these racial dynamics and things that I experienced, and going in within that environment, that turned me into a real sort of have this real militant attitude. So I was walking down the hall, and what everybody thought was like, man, that's that angry Black dude over there. My attitude was, as long as I'm getting straight A's, you can't do nothing to me. You can't say nothing to me. And I can act how I want and be how I want. Y'all can't say nothing as long as I'm getting straight A's. You can't kick me out of here. You have to deal with me, you know. And so that was my attitude.
It got to the point where the professors was coming to me, asking me questions.
Wow.
Like, how can I get this guy, man? What's up with him, you know? And I was just kind of looking at him like, man, you know.
That's extreme.
Because me and Mike had a plan when he was like 18, 19. We had a plan about what was coming.
Yeah,
and we had mapped out, you know, some things about how we wanted to, like this that we're talking about now, mucus-free-life.com and all this. We talked about this 10 years, 12, 13, 14 years ago. We talked about this. You know, I mean, this was a part of the plan.
The blueprint,
This wasn't something that just kind of jumped up the last couple of years, and you know what I mean? This was something, man, that created a certain momentum for our life. You know, this was like our life, man. Like, you know, and being influenced by Victor Buttram, for those who's looking at this and listening to this, and maybe you might want to research who Victor Buttram was for us, you know, and you know, Takora, Professor, and myself, maybe Khalid. There was a few of us who were plugging into Vic, and really, you know, I mean, we kind of that, on our knees, and was taught by this brother, and he was sharing, and so it started then, man, and what we're doing now is just a result from that kind of tutelage and inspiration that we got, plugging into him, and then taking it, where we wanted to take it, and I think he would be proud, right now of what's going on. I mean, we're talking about Arnold Eric, man. That was his favorite subject.
Yeah.
That was his favorite subject, and we stayed on point,
Yeah. And we had, certain things that helped me along too was, we had the Immortality Pipeline radio program. Had that for several years, and so that was all like you said. This was part of a blueprint and a larger vision of being able to do a lot with a little, because none of us got money, none of us have a whole bunch of resources. But what I became really good at within academia was using resources that were available to me that a lot of students don't use. They don't even think that they have access to certain things that they do have access to and that they should use, in terms of media spaces and resources and online, just a lot of different resources. So I was trying to use all those and use it for my benefit to study, but then also use it for the benefit of building a community and establishing a level of credibility to what we're doing in this lifestyle and articulating things.
I was telling Decor about. Excuse me. Oh, let me say this, and then you can say this. Say what you want to say, Decor. But I was telling Decor about how it was somewhat difficult up until, for you as a student there, up until we did the recital. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I in my undergrad, I had different periods. The first period of just getting into the diet was really hard because the diet's hard, and I noticed real early on that people were not going to support me just going into the lunchroom, and here I am with a salad and some fruit or something, and then people started making fun of me, like, "Oh, what you doing? You on a diet or something?" And so I sort of had to remove myself from a lot of social situations that I know a lot of other people wouldn't necessarily want to take themselves out of. That was part of what I was able to do, the way I had to do it. And so I took myself out of all of the sort of that college party scene, which I had done for about a year prior. I just got away from all that, and I focused on my music and I focused on the diet. There was a part where I sort of let go and said, you know what, I'm gonna just go wherever this diet takes me. I just basically gave up trying to fight against it. And as soon as I did that, things got a lot easier. Up to that point, it was rough. But once I let go, it got a lot easier. And then after that was kind of the angry black man and CCM period. But then after that, there was a lot of dissonance between me and professors and other students and that kind of stuff. And so I just sort of just again kept everybody at bay. I wasn't trying to get close to anybody or nothing. I was just like, I'm here for business. That's all this thing is about. I'm studying, give me that piece of paper, and at the same time using the resources. We recorded some Breatharian ensemble albums in there, and I was bringing in this whole element, like street musicians and all these people that would never be in the university setting. I was bringing them in, and they'd be walking up the hall, and professors would kind of look like, "Oh, what's going on?" So it was like a vibe that we was just really bringing to that whole school. But so when we had my master's recital, we did a senior recital, but the master's recital is what ends up that you can find on YouTube, the Children of the Sun performance. And it was just a real high level performance. I mean, me and Brother Air are real proud of that. Everybody that took place is just real proud to have been a part of that. It was like a special period. We were all fasting, but everybody on stage had fasted for some length. I think I'd been fasting for several months. You know, Brother Air had been fasting for several months. Yeah, everybody was fasting, and it just came together like at the last, you know, just in that moment when we were performing, it came together. And the professors that were in the audience that witnessed it, and anybody that witnessed it, they still talk about their performance. But the professors, they started just giving me so much respect after that performance because nobody had done anything like that at the school before. You know, nobody had done anything like that.
You know what I said too was that everything. Well, the respect came from like now they get it. Now they finally get him. They, you know, they couldn't figure him out at that point. But once it was put into music and put into that show, and then they got it. It was like, okay, I get it. You know, I get it. Okay, and after then, it was just smooth sailing for him in school. I mean, it was like everybody understood, and there was a case of music being a healer and a healing force and making people understand where his actions and words, I mean, you know, he'd go in and do his, what he used to call, remember we used to rehearse all of the standards for, what he used to call that, you know, he had to do, the band always rehearsed with your homework, actually. Remember what he used to call that?
What'd you say?
What he used to call that? Because he used to bring all them standards that the band would do. And what did you used to call that? It was like, I had to do my, it was something that you would have to do that had to do.
Your board examinations.
Yeah, your board, yeah. So we would always rehearse his board. And so he'd bring in, you know, 3 or 4 stanzas or whatever, and that would be our rehearsal. We'd work on them. And so, you know, at that point, after the masters recited Tune of the Sun concert, because they wasn't really ready. They were ready for a recital. They wasn't ready for a concert.
Right.
And we put a concert on them. You know, like sit down, get your popcorn or whatever, and boom, and we put a concert on it, and they just flipped. I mean, they just, to this day, they just, you know, that concert really ripped them up. And,
was it recorded?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. We recorded it. We got CDs of it. We have DVDs of it, and it's on YouTube. And we did a talk. What did you call that, Professor? That we did. Remember we did.
We did a commentary. We did a commentary about where we, you know, we kind of just talked about a lot of probably what we're talking about now. You know, some of that history. We just lost Brother Air, but what you're looking at if you're watching this is kind of a short clip toward the end of the show with the children of the sun. This is actually Khalif and Malusi's children here that back in the day they holding some fruit. They up you know, so that was the whole vision of, you know, we're trying to get the community involved. You know, we've always tried to do that. And so yeah, you can check out that whole thing if you're interested. If you actually want the physical DVD, those are on sale. You can send me a message. They're not. It's not posted, but I can make you one up. But so yeah. So I think we'll probably start wrapping up here. Let's see if Brother Air calls back. He dropped. Takora, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So you have any parting words for brothers and sisters out there?
Yeah, I do. I actually had a question in reference to the entire the mucus-free, mucus-lean life. Before Victor made his transition, he and I had lengthy discussions. He would recite that we were life and that we exist. And so no matter where you need to go, and when you leave your body, you still travel and you go anywhere you want to go. It's like to mention his name, it's like he's always present. Even though we don't actually physically hear his voice, it's as he said that those people can project themselves wherever they want. And so every time, we tap in on this subject and we read and stuff, kind of, make me reflect on those discussions. And also, his presence is always present with me. Especially when we say, this, that, I think about the conversations that we have, and it's consistent. It has never wavered, always present. Not, those are parts of your life that I wasn't there watching you grow and evolve, and to me that's, exciting and it's inspiring, because I remember, I think I met you when you were about 20 months.
Yeah.
And you were quiet, and it's profound to see where you are now, your maturity, and to and to know what Vic was then and how he is now, because I still have astro travels and things that he taught me then, that I do now. And like I can be walking up the street and I see a truck go past and they got Victor on. It's like so funny. I can be walking in a store and then I literally see VIC people or Victory, something in reference to his projected presence, and he makes it known. He's consistent. And it's like when we are having our topics and our discussions, his presence is with us. And I know that at one point in time, we'll be able to actually be able to hear his voice transmit through the telecommunication. Thank you, Ra. Ra. You got a bird?
Yeah.
You got a bird? Oh, okay. What kind of bird you got? Can you hear me, Spira?
No, I don't. That's Brother Air's back on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, because I kept hearing Ra, like.
Yeah, no, that's and yeah, so
Well, you got some music.
So the Brother Air, we kind of wrapping things up here. You got some last minute words of wisdom for the just to kind of wrap it up. Wrap up the mucus culture session number 1, because we'll be back. We'll be talking more about this.
Say that again now.
I said we'll be back talking more about this, in the future.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What I want say, I guess, in the wrap up, it's always a pleasure to talk with you exciting people. Who's Professor and Decor, Tamar, I think Zion was there at one point. Are they still there?
I know Janan is still there. She's working on some orders right now.
I am still here, and I'm beating away.
So I guess when we talk about the mucus and pus culture, it only can be dealt with with dedicating yourself to putting that in the best hands of history. And I guess how do you go about that? I guess you have to figure that out for yourself. We're waging war on mucus and pus culture because it's waging war on us.
Well, we got to expose it, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
you know.
We're exposing it at all levels,
and to have the courage to do so. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely having the courage and to know when it reached its ugly head. To have the understanding, because it comes in a way that hides itself a lot of times, and so.
I just wanted to, put this in here, because, actually, the enemy is within each and every last one of us, So you get that venom, you can get that beast, devil, demon, or whatever out of it. Because truth bears no mask. Neither bow to any shrine.
Well, that's another thing. Don't be afraid of it.
It acts only for him.
Do not be afraid of the enemy. I mean, if you haven't done do one, and get baptized and get on into that daily cleanse. And just really understand what we're battling against. Profound
real church.
Profound ignorance and trying to step back into nature, man. I mean, we are part of. We're not a separate entity of nature. We are a part of nature, and so we have to walk like we know who we are. We have to put ourselves back together, every part of us. We have to put it back together, and we have to be rational about it, and we have to be patient, and don't apologize. Don't
trying to keep sweet.
Don't apologize to nobody about trying to get yourself together. And turning your back, somebody said, well, I can't turn my back on. I can turn my back, when it comes to the Bible. I can turn my back. And because it's down to that. I mean, we're in a state of emergency. And, and I mean, we've reduced real revolution to a brother doing a speech on a stupid awards show. That's posed to I'm not even gonna get into that. I mean,
yeah, we'll say save that one for another session.
It's good. It's good it happened. It's good that they got happy, and it's good that they satisfied. It'll be better.
I don't have a problem with what he was saying. I mean, that was all good stuff he was saying. But you have to tune in to the next time we get together. That might be part of the subject that we're talking about. I'm gonna open up that can of worms about why that happened and how it happened.
I hope I can get him to tune in, because I'm gonna plug into some people that know those children directly. And then that was whether he was in front of the camera or not, he thought about it. He was gonna say it to somebody somewhere, and that was the time to
That's what I know, and that's what we will discuss that on a different time.
Platform.
There's some things about that we're gonna, I have some ideas about that that's gonna shock some people, but people are gonna realize what I'm saying is not that shocking about that, and they're gonna it's one of those times you say, So yeah, man, I'm just happy we were able to get together and talk about Mucus and Pus Culture on a day where it sounds like we're in Beirut, you know, and it's just people supposedly just having fun. But really, I guess I guess you could think of today as the sounds of how their stomachs sound. This is like how their stomachs sound.
Yeah, right. Just you know, the fireworks of the colon.
Going on inside of it.
Yeah. And I don't know, did we lose Brother Air again?
Yeah, and I understand this is our departure. I thank you so kindly in your business, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, I'm back. So later, everybody.
All right, Brother Air.
Brother, Professor Spira, Sister Jahani, Tamar, Sister Zion, love, and more love.
Ashe, okay.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, so you got your closing statements, Decora?
Yeah, my closing statement is B equal P minus O. Knows it.
People.
Yeah,
all right.
all praise. Hopefully we get to link again real soon, because I got this thing with this phone. It don't get to go with me like I'll be, programmed to do. And I've never been wrong with programming. I just haven't ever been. And now that I have to go to a new school and learn to use these tools, I am really, really disciplining myself to do this more. So I will be on it next time. I will be on time, and I will make sure that those ones are plugged in. Miss Loretta, Sister Pinky, Sister Egypt, Tasha, Brother Daoud, Brother Akiva. So these ones will be plugged in, and then we'll probably plug it into Tassili's Raw Reality, which is where a lot of people go. And so hopefully she'll be able to pull it up on the computer and have it like, boom, Skyping.
Mm.
So soon, thank you so kind, and I see you and hear you in the light. But I'm going to call you.
All right. Peace, love, and
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So we're down to myself and Janan. So you have some final.
I love. Thank you so much for the lemon line. I'm gonna call the women.
Thank you, Decora.
Yeah, we're gonna get some women today.
And so Janan, you have some final words for the brothers and sisters out there?
No, not really. But thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get back to work.
Right.
Since it seems like some things have been popular, and I appreciate that from everybody.
Yeah, and I want to thank the folks that have bought. I do get. I need one of them little horns, like they have on those some of those little like the little shows where they sell merchandise and someone buys like honk honk honk.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Okay. But yeah, we had a number of orders. I want to thank everybody that has ordered. Again, we have where to go? There we go. We have 5% off with the coupon code LEMON. That's only going to be for the next about 11 hours now, so you want to definitely take advantage of that as soon as you hear this. And if you're hearing the rebroadcast, then you definitely want to order real quick. But yeah, that's to get you an additional 5% off. Most of them are already on sale from their original retail price, but a lot of great stuff here, real colorful, all inspired by lemons. The lemon line of mucus-free jewelry. This is the first in what hopefully is a lot of different lines of a lot of created.
Oh, there's so much we can do with fruit and colors. and this is just the beginning. Yeah, really.
Indeed, indeed.
Thanks, because I'm doing one right now.
Yeah.
I love Takora.
It's a liberated zone. So
hopefully we'll be adding some baby enema bags to those bracelets.
Yeah, we were talking about some special designs and some little enema bag emblems and stuff like that. So we will, the mucus-free creativity will flow.
There's so much you can do.
Read our new children's mucus-free creed. It's so awesome. And next time you see the children, they will most definitely recite it to Professor Spira.
Okay.
I am a human being. I am clean. I am a sacred sanctuary. I am not a cemetery. So whenever their grandparents try to feed them flesh, that's exactly what the little ones will say to anybody to try to give them some garbage.
Nice.
Right
Nice. I like that.
Oh,
yeah.
They get ready to fry, toast, bake, cook, everything. Anybody try to poison them, they coming real wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that almost makes me think of the that'll be something I have to put out. I don't know if you've ever checked out the children's health food book, but I read it. It's on, if you type that into YouTube channel, you'll find it. I did the music for it and I did a reading of it, and it's almost like a mucus-free reading rainbow or something.
It was really cool. It was.
I read that book to this one of my little godsons down here. His mother had gotten the book for her children years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was the mucus. Was it the mucus monster?
Yeah. It had all these different characters in it.
And you put the music with it. It was so good.
Oh, I love it.
Love it. Yeah. I'm going to take it, make sure the children at the Watoto camp got it. There's a whole bunch of them. There's like 32 of them, right? So I'm glad you made that comment because I would be sure to help them to remember.
Yeah, and it's a good book. I was gonna try to reach out to the author to see what's up with the publishing, because it's hard to get a copy of it unless they started making new copies of it. It's like you got to try to find old ones and stuff, but it's an important work.
It's out of print. It's out of print.
Yeah. It's hard. Like if you there was a period where you would go on Amazon and try to buy it, and it would be it was like a real expensive. So, all right. Well, it was a pleasure and a privilege, as always, to have this real high-level discussions about diet, culture, lifestyle, mucus-free living, dead animal, death culture living. Making the comparison. So I thank all the guests and Janan. Thank you so much for joining us, and the core, Brother Air, everybody that chipped in, tuned in, and I think there was one question we pretty much covered it. That was what we was talking about kind of how to this how to deal with bringing this information to the world, and this is pretty much how you do it. This is how I know how to do it. We have to have these conversations. They have to be public. For a long time, these type of conversations have been real private amongst a small group of people that are in the know. But now we have to just put this information out there, and those of us that do put ourselves out there, we just I don't know. I'm just not the type of person. I'm not going to live in fear, and I'm not going to be quiet and just that kind of thing. You know, we got to be out here and you know, say aloud we're mucus free and proud or whatever. You know, just like we had to have our own little slogan of, you know, we're not going to be marginalized and put to the side, and people think that just because it's a small group of us, like that's not, like we're not important or whatever. You know, we have to assert ourselves and do what we need to do. And there's a lot more of us than people realize and think, and that will become evident in time. So, all right, well, brothers and sisters, that concludes our discussion of pus and mucus culture. And until next time, peace, love, and breath.